Many of you know who we are, who I am. My name is Enrico Schaefer. I am a innovation technology attorney for 30 years. I have always specialized in understanding new and emerging technology, as well as providing representation to companies in those spaces. So started out back in 92, 93, when the new technology was the internet, cloud, and blockchain and unmanned aerial systems, and now AI. And so what I do, because I love technology, is I dive in and I learn how to not only use that technology, but how it works. And I've always been pretty generous in terms of sharing my learning and my expertise. And this AI4the.win community is designed for business professionals, lawyers, founders, anyone in the knowledge community who wants to leverage up using AI. And so that's the point of the community. That's the point of today. Most, if not all of you, are subscribed to the newsletter for AI for the Win. That's how you're going to get information on a mass basis. And most of you are also free community members on AI for the Win, which then gets you into a number of different resources, which we'll be talking about in a minute. So these AMAs, these Ask Me Anythings, are going to be monthly, and they're really about personal coaching and trying to, figure out where we are as a community in terms of learning how to use AI in our businesses in a comprehensive, meaningful way in order to continue to amplify our own abilities and become more than we could without the assistance of AI. Our AI for the Win community is all about building the largest community of knowledge professionals using AI in a way that is practical and that is based on today. So you're going to see a lot of content out there on the internet about how to get rich quick using AI and build content using AI and all these different things that really aren't designed for you and me, right? Which is, I'm a lawyer, or I'm a business professional, I'm a founder, right? I'm an accountant, and I want to know how I can use AI tools today in order to do my job better. So we're very practical in our approach, and we're really nuts and bolts in terms of like, here's what you could actually do today in order to 10x at work. We all understand that, that AI is an evolving technology. And so what we learn today are going to be the foundational skills that we need in order to be able to use the next latest and greatest technology that will be coming down the pipe. For those of you who've watched my YouTube videos, I'm very careful to let people know that there's a lot of AI tools out there that are just not ready for prime time. That it's a lot of marketing and a lot of hype, but most of them, 99% of them, are a waste of your time. And time is money. So our goal is to use tools that are ready for use today, that are providing value today. I want to invite you to invite your coworkers to this community, and I'm going to give you another link here in the chat. We have reworked our different offerings, and so anyone can join this community for free, and it will get you into the bulletin boards, some of the day-to-day resources, the discussions that we're having about how professionals are using AI to win. And so I invite you to invite at least one, if not more, of your business associates who you think might get value out of the resources that we're providing. All right. We are into Chat GPT tools because really OpenAI, the company that launched ChatGPT 3, which changed the world, which is now ChatGPT 4 Turbo. They're the leader, the market leader. There's a little bit of back and forth between some of the other players like Claude or Perplexity, what have you, that sometimes do something maybe a little bit better. But really, if you're going to use one primary tool to win at work, it's going to be ChatGPT. You're going to get into the ChatGPT Plus $20 a month version. And you're going to automatically be using 4 Turbo. ChatGPT 5 or whatever it is OpenAI is going to call it, which will probably not be ChatGPT 5, according to Sam Altman, the CEO, is going to be coming this year. But OpenAI is making iterations on 4 Turbo every single week. And so behind the scenes, lots is happening all the time to improve these tools. We think they're really impressive. They can definitely help you right now. But ChatGPT 5, ChatGPT 4, let's say more intelligent than 50% of the humans in the world. ChatGPT 5 will be smarter than all of us. It'll be more intelligent than anyone in the world. So whereas humans, we're the big dog in terms of intelligence until now, this year we will see AI that is more intelligent than human beings. And so wrap your brain around that, right? Our goal isn't to try and figure out what the doomsday scenarios are. Our goal is to figure out how we as workers are going to leverage the tools that are available to stay relevant, and let the others worry about the nuclear, domination of AI taking over the world. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, in the meantime, I'm going to get the most out of it in order to extend my professional abilities. I want to show you a little video. Sam Altman, for those of you who followed all the craziness that was going on in November or December of last year when Sam Altman was ousted from OpenAI as the CEO and then brought back, and all kinds of, things, speculation about why that occurred. He's now back. He's definitely scarred. He's not the open, engaged person he was before all that turmoil. But he did give a recent interview, and I want to show you a little bit about what he said here.
The next 5 years, people talk about like how many jobs is AI going to do in 5 years, and the framework that people have is what percentage of current jobs are just going to be totally replaced by some AI doing the job. The way I think about it is not what percent of jobs AI will do, but what percent of tasks will AI do and over what time horizon. So if you think of all of the 5-second tasks in the economy, 5-minute tasks, the 5-hour tasks, maybe the 5-day tasks, how many of those can AI do? And I think that's a way more interesting and impactful, important question than how many jobs AI can do, because it is a tool that will work at increasing levels of sophistication and over longer time horizons, perform tasks, and let people operate at a higher level of abstraction. So maybe people are way more efficient at the job they do. And at some point, that's not just a quantitative change, but it's a qualitative one too about.
There's a lot of speculation about AI replacing people at various jobs. Sam Altman knows more about this than just about anybody. And for where we are right now, there's no question that AI tools can perform tasks in a variety of different categories that are really helpful to any professional in the knowledge economy. And by knowledge economy, I mean that you are offering some value based on your knowledge or expertise to the world, and that's how you make money. So we want to use these tools to help amplify, is the key word that we want to be thinking about, amplify our own abilities from here to here. And AI can do that right now. And it's going to be performing tasks for us that we used to have to either delegate or do for ourselves. And if you joined us for our webinar last 2 weeks ago that was on GPTs, we taught you how to build these GPT assistants for all the different little tasks that you do during the day to really take those off your desk, right? Someone else, this AI tool, this AI assistant is going to do those tasks for you, and it really allows you to get a lot more done during the day. And by the way, AI does those tasks better than most, if not all, assistants you can hire for the same job. So we want to think about doing tasks and collaboration with AI tools as what we can get out of AI today. And yes, I think my personal view, I get asked all the time, well, what is going to happen with lawyers? For lawyers, yes, we do have to worry about our jobs. And I think everyone needs to worry about what will happen in 3 years and 10 years to their particular profession. Because even though AI is currently doing tasks right now, what that really means is that AI will allow 5 people to do the work of 10. Well, there's 5 people who just lost their jobs. Very quickly, as this technology evolves, it's going to be AI is going to do the work of one person is going to be able to do the work of 10, and then one person in 100. So I don't know where all this is headed. No one does. But I will tell you this, I am going to know how to use these tools better than anyone else in my profession. And that's how I intend to try and survive the AI era. And I'm inviting you as part of this AI for the Win community to join me on this journey, this never ending, endless journey of learning how to use these tools. Here is another YouTube I want to show you really quick. Nicola is an expert when it comes to how are the largest firms integrating AI. And one of the things that she notes in this interview is that in 2023, their surveying was that at the beginning of 2023, $0 were allocated by these large firms in their budgets for 2023 to AI. By the end of 2023, 80% of them had devoted tremendous resources to AI. And they may have done that by investing in like Westlaw AI tools and things of this nature, but the big firms get it. Like they have the money and the resources to buy into the technology. Now, that doesn't mean that their people are going to embrace it in a meaningful way, but AI is going to be baked into everything. You won't have any choice. You'll be using AI without knowing it. But listen to what Nicola has to say about AI and law.
Is firms that did not get on the experimentation train in 2023, they won't be in a position to do that scaling work in 2024. They're going to be still experimenting. And so I do think this is where we're going to see that gap between those that are out in front and those that are lagging behind start to grow. And that's, I would be concerned if I was one of the firms that was not yet in a position to start scaling. I would be a little concerned by that. Right, you're going to get outrun pretty quickly.
All right. So basically, what she's saying there is that, and I think she's a little bit exaggerating, but everyone was kind of experimenting in 2023. 2024 is going to be more about organizational AI, where the companies, the law firms that put in systems to train their people, put in systems policies that their people have to abide to, so they're not putting in client information into a tool that's getting fed back into the system and spitting out to the general public. This organizational AI is going to be a big deal. And I think that we're going to see that throughout 2024. So yes, get individual skills, but also you should be thinking about your company, your law firm, your company. What is it you need to be doing in order to organizationally level up on AI? There are going to be some ready for prime time tools like Spellbook, like Case Tech Co-Counsel, that you are going to have to make an ROI decision on. Are you willing to pay the price to get into these tools? You will always be able to use ChatGPT at $20 per month to do sometimes better work, if not comparable work at that $20 a month level. So for firms that don't have unlimited budgets, ChatGPT becomes your primary tool and the most important tool in your toolbox. What AI do you recommend for legal research? So that's going to be Westlaw's got by far the better tool than LexisNexis. And so they've got a subscription option, which incorporates AI as a base tool. And then they've got additional AI functionality that you can subscribe to on top of that. We used to use a very inexpensive legal research tool offered through our Michigan Bar Association that quickly became obsoleted. And now if you are not using Westlaw, you are basically behind some of your competitors, but more importantly, every federal court clerk and judge has this AI-enabled Westlaw tool. Most state judges and clerks have this AI tool. And one of the things this AI tool will do is you can upload a brief into it, and it will very quickly tell you what citations are accurate or inaccurate. So basically, every federal judge or law clerk is doing a very quick and dirty on every brief that you filed to see if you miscited a case, and it will do that on a scale of 1 to 10. And so if you kind of fudged it, it'll come back a 5. If you really fudged it, it'll come back a 1, but they're going to know. You need to be able to upload your own brief into these AI tools to check them before you file. If your opposition's a large law firm, they're uploading your brief into that tool in order to do the reply. So you can see where this is going. And I would recommend that if you're going to budget some money, Westlaw is better than Lexis, the AI tool. For contract drafting, I use ChatGPT Plus. And so what I'll do is I'll create a specific GPT with all the contextual information about that client, about the client's goals, about the client's concerns, and I'll upload that into the GPT. I'll create a GPT specific for that client, and then I'll dial that GPT in so it's going to assist me as a legal expert in, let's say it's a software as a service agreement, or let's say it's a endorsement contract. I'll tell it its role is as an expert in drafting and negotiating endorsement contracts, and then I'll start to work with that GPT in order to draft, and it spits out a really good outline. Then you tell it to start drafting each point in the outline. From there, then you say, I think we need to change this section, and you instruct it what you're seeing, what you feel as the expert needs to change, and it will change that language for you. I draft contracts, complex contracts, all day using ChatGPT assistance. So I have a celebrity client that has many millions of Instagram followers that gets paid lots and lots of money, more than any of us could imagine, to do endorsements for brands. This particular client is now potentially going to get a TV show. And so we're gravitating from endorsement contracts to what would be streaming. So I tell the GPT this: you are an expert celebrity lawyer protecting your client's right to publicity. Publicity rights, name, likeness, voice. You will assist me as a celebrity lawyer representing my client. So I've told ChatGPT what the role is here that they're going to fulfill. And I've told them that they're not just coming at this from a layman's standpoint, that they are the expert. I'm uploading a proposed finder's agreement from the production company Shark Media. So I genericize this document, and it's a generic finder's agreement where they're going to go out and see if they can find a producer for the show. My client I changed it to Sandra Bullock. I'm worried about ownership of her publicity rights and intellectual property, as well as control over use and production. What paragraph should I be concerned about in this agreement, given my concerns? So this is a great example of how to use ChatGPT, not to do your work for you, but to collaborate with you in doing work. You're still an expert. Now you've got a co-expert, but you're the one that's directing the show. You're the ones that's spotting the issues, right? So here's what ChatGPT says. Given your concerns about ownership, here are some paragraphs that I am concerned about. Paragraph 3, control. This section states that all creative and business decisions concerning the project, development, production, distribution, exploitation will all be made by the producer, not my client. This grants producers a significant amount of control. Paragraph 5, rights. This is a critical section regarding ownership of the publicity rights and intellectual property. Part A mentions the artist, grants the producers the right to use her image, voice, likeness, etc. for the project. Part B extends this by stating all results and proceeds of her services are to be considered work for hire, meaning that the producer actually owns everything. Okay? So anything related to the project is going to be owned not by my client, but by the producer. Paragraph 4, exclusivity. Only this producer, only this company can shop my client's reality TV show. All right. So next thing I ask ChatGPT to do. I know I'm going to want to explain this to my client. So I say, explain paragraphs 5 and 3 in layman's terms so my client understands what is being proposed by Sharp Media. Certainly, here's a simplified explanation. And you can see how I'm asking my assistant to start drafting the email that I'm going to send back to my client about these issues. All right. And in very plain English, better than you and I can do as lawyers, because we don't speak in plain English, this GPT is going to nail it. And it's going to tell my client that this includes any photographs and other content are going to be owned by Sharp Media. In simplest terms, Sharp Media wants the right to use her voice, image, etc. They want to own everything created involving her, making sure they can use it however they want without Sandra being able to change her mind or have any say in it afterwards. Then it goes to paragraph 3. So you can see this would be a really good start to an email to the client. So then I say, you know what? These deals fundamentally differ from brand endorsement deals in which she holds the camera and controls the production and where minimal rights of use are conveyed. I need to help my client understand this critical distinction. Let's expand on our work and convey that distinction in our next communication to her. Let me know if you have any questions about my client's sensitivities before continuing our drafting exercise. So this is advanced prompt engineering. This is where you guys want to start getting to. And as lawyers, we think about how we delegate tasks when we're working with paralegals and law clerks and associate attorneys. We want to think about that in this exact same way when we're dealing with ChatGPT. We want to instruct, and I could say in the same way, but what happens is that ChatGPT is going to teach you delegation and management skills that you don't have. So not only is ChatGPT going to be there to help you and assist you, the reality of the situation is this. You're not good at a lot of things. And there are things that you think you're good at that you're going to get much better at because these AI tools are going to help you become better. And one of the things that they're going to help you be better at is management and delegation. So there's a couple things in this prompt I want to highlight. This came from me, right? This, hey, by the way, I'm thinking about this, and this deal structure is so much different than what my clients used to, where in our other deals, she owns everything. She has 100% control over and ownership over every single thing that goes on Instagram. They could say what they want to see in the video, but they don't have veto rights. She controls it all, right? So these deals are fundamentally different than brand endorsement deals. I need to help my client understand this critical distinction. So normally you might just, as the lawyer, say, I know what the distinction is. That's the important thing. But one of the value propositions of AI, and one of the ways it's going to change the way lawyers deliver legal services, is going to help our clients understand their legal problems at a much higher level. And an educated client is a better client. The problem has always been, I know I've got X number of dollars in my client budget. How much am I going to spend drafting an email educating them about trademark infringement, right? Or am I just going to get them on the phone? I'm just going to tell them quickly, like, this is infringing. AI has the ability to level you up as a business professional, as a lawyer, because it can help you educate the stakeholders that you are concerned about. So I need my client to understand this distinction. Now, here's what I do next. I do this all the time. Let's convey this distinction in our next communication. But before we do, let me know if you, AI assistant, have any questions about my client's sensitivities before continuing our drafting exercise. So I could provide a lot of context to the AI tool that would give the client this intimate knowledge of my client's sensitivities, which is going to help it assist me in this next round of drafting. But why not let the AI ask me what it needs to know? And so it says, understanding the nuances. Here are a few points I think are important to clarify before drafting this communication. And now it's got 4 questions. Now here's where I want to pivot into another tool that I think is just simply one you have to use. And it's the whisper speech to text technology that I've been talking about for 9 months, which is a speech to text tool which blows Siri out of the water because it's near perfect. You can type at a certain number of words per minute. You can talk at least 3 to 5, if not in my case, 10 times faster than I can type. So all day long, you're limited by keystrokes. With Whisper AI technology offered by OpenAI, you are not limited by keystrokes. I barely type anything all day long anymore. What do? I dictate. So let me pull up this tool. And if those of you have not watched my video on how to access the development tools from OpenAI, I'll give you that link to the Whisper training on YouTube. But when you create an account with ChatGPT, you can also use that same login to get into the development tools, become a developer for OpenAI. What qualifies you to be a developer? A software developer? A complex software developer? Can you speak a language? Because language is code. We are all software developers now, right? Language is code. So when you get into this tool, you're going to go to complete. You're going to click on this little icon. Now it's more than just the fact that I can talk my instructions. With speech to text, I can navigate between windows and I'm not stuck typing in a single browser tab or Word document. So let's see how I do this. So I'm going to start this recording. These are all really good questions. Let's just take them one at a time. In response to your question number 1, I want to let you know that Sandra totally prioritizes control in all of her projects, and she is not going to be very receptive and is going to instead be very concerned about the fact that she doesn't control what the final product looks like, what the final media looks like, and she's certainly going to be concerned about, editorial discretion in that regard. Your second question over rights to use is related, and I agree that, that this is an important question because historically, Sandra has owned all of her work product, which she then provides a limited license to the brands. So does she understand that a proposed project agreement involves a broader assignment of her rights? The answer is no, and we need to help her understand that. Number 3, her personal brand and image. And I'm going to stop recording. Now it's going to get that nearly perfect speech to text. And so I do this all day long when I'm doing emails. I'm not trying to figure out what the exact thing is I'm going to say in a client email. I'm just getting the main items that I want in there. And then I'm putting it into a GPT client communication tool. And I'm letting ChatGPT do the work and get the tone just right. So let's go back here to my demonstration browser window and answer the questions. And you can see here, this is how you collaborate with AI. So it's not about what's the capital of Russia, right? It's about working with these tools in order to be able to do a better job. And the AI has so much to teach us already about how to be better at what we do. I learn every single day how to be a better lawyer just listening to ChatGPT and answering questions from ChatGPT and watching how ChatGPT analyzes things in an incredibly logical, methodical way. And you can see here, it's just drafted me what will be a 98% perfect email to Sandra. And it's breaking it down by the different things that we talked about, telling her in plain English that that this version of the agreement is probably not going to work for her, and here's why. And one of the things that I know that's already missing is that recommendation from Enrico. Let's do that. This is a really good email. What I want to do is now make it a little bit more personal. As her attorney, I am recommending that she does not sign this agreement and that we revert back to a letter agreement stage and make sure we can agree on the main points before spending a lot of time and money negotiating a final draft. This letter agreement is going to need to make sure that we are covering three main topics. One, we are not granting carte blanche discretion to the final product to the production company. We are going to have the ability to approve or disapprove any final media. Any unused media is going to need to be deleted. 2, we are owning all of the media and we will license it to the Shark company for the limited purpose of coming up with a streaming show. 3, I need benchmarks in this agreement that are going to ensure that the Shark company is doing its job, because right now we have a 9-month term and there's no obligations in this agreement for the production company. So they could just literally sit on their hands for 9 months and nothing would happen. So we'll get to the details of how we build those benchmarks, but let's at least give Sandra some ideas of the types of benchmarks that we might build into the agreement as part of an LOI, and happy to receive your ideas as to what those might be. Now, how many of you are interacting with your AI tools like I've just demonstrated here? Because this is really, puts you in the top 1% of use of AI. If you start thinking about AI the way that I'm thinking about AI every day as I use the tool. So you could see here, it's gonna do just a tremendous job. I'm gonna go ahead and share this with you if anyone wants to. I gotta wait for it to finish. So you've also seen my training videos on share chats, which allow you to share your chats with third parties. When this is completed, I will give you a link and you can see this entire exercise and view it after this webinar to see exactly how I went about the work and to see the quality of the work product that is generated by this AI tool. By the way, I am blown away by this stuff every single day, but Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, said just last week, ChatGPT-4 sucks. And he says it sucks only in relation to what is coming next. So if this sucks, you can only imagine that the world is about to be changed in ways we can't imagine. Our jobs are about to be changed in ways we cannot imagine. And our very existence in these jobs is going to be up for grabs because this is pretty mind-boggling stuff. And if this sucks compared to what we're going to have by the end of the year, I can only imagine what that's going to look like. All right, so here's the share. Internal error. All right, I'll come back to this and remember to see if I can get this to work. You'll see in working with ChatGPT, you're going to get errors that occur throughout the day. I always refresh in order to try and get rid of those errors. Sometimes it bogs down. Those things get better and better all the time, but you should not get frustrated by the fact that the AI tool is not perfect. Why do people get frustrated? Because of the expectations, right? It should just work seamlessly 24/7 without question. Well, let me ask you this. Does your paralegal work 24/7 perfectly without exception? Does your law clerk work 24/7 perfectly without exception? Why do we have these expectations of these tools that allow us to get mentally frustrated when the alternative is some very small percentage of capability? So we talk about in our training about the quad core training method, about how important mindset is when you're using these tools. And I train you on mindset. What is the appropriate mindset as you use AI tools throughout the day? One of them is don't get frustrated because it doesn't work perfectly, because at the end of the day, nothing is perfect. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my name on this link. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the chat for you guys to check out. All right. And so we've got a comment. Very often, if we regenerate the response up to 2 or 3 times, the response got better. Have you noticed this as well? You know, it's a good question. And I think I've seen that observation. But for me, if the response isn't perfect, I feel like that's where, thank God, I still have value, right? So I then direct it to what is missing. And so I'm constantly in these conversations with these AI tools all day long about, brainstorming an issue, asking the AI to ask me questions that I might not be thinking about, figuring out what's missing and what comes next. You notice in this exercise that we went through today, I'm the one that knows that these finders agreements often lack benchmarks, which, if you read the agreement, like literally it's all my client's obligations and their exclusivity. Well, what do they have to do, right? Do I have any way to exit this agreement in 9 months? No. So I have expertise that I brought to the conversation, and then I had the ChatGPT help me draft language to explain that to the client. And by the time we get to the negotiation of the LOI, which is going to be what's happening next, I'm going to come back to this thread. I'll have bookmarked it. So one of the things you could do is bookmark these threads so they're easy to find. I always relabel them so that they're easy to find. And again, in my videos, I go through all this stuff. And this is very kind of, a lot of different concepts coming at you from different angles, and a lot of different things that I know that I've instructed on before that I'm sharing with you, or at least mentioning in these AI for the learning courses. It's very structured learning. It just takes you step by step by step by step through what you need to know, which is why I went with the Thinkific platform and with this formal learning structure that we now have, because in order to really get good at this stuff, you got to take one little step, get tested on it, take another little step and get tested on it. And so once you build all those core skills and you come at it with the right mindset, you're very quickly going to be at the level that I am. All right. Let's see what else we have. OpenAI Whisper could replace Dragon. Absolutely. And Dragon is pretty bulky and has got a big client install the last I used it, but maybe it's now pure cloud. But if Dragon is not using AI, then it is already obsolete, because you don't have to train ChatGPT to recognize your voice or to speak in your language. It will automatically detect that, and it will get it 98, 99% right. I mean, does Dragon do that? No, Dragon's literal. This is AI. It understands. It's got a whole brain. It understands what you're trying to accomplish and works towards that goal. So AI-based speech to text is now the gold standard in speech to text. And, you'll notice here in this interface, I can't do speech to text yet, but I can on my app. Okay. So in the iPhone app, I will often use that to dictate and cut and paste elsewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and do a demonstration of dictation in the ChatGPT iPhone app. Unfortunately, we don't have that functionality yet on the web browser app, but sometimes I'll cut and paste what goes in here into my browser or back into a web app that I'm using on my phone. You're going to see very quickly it's going to get that perfect. And you don't have to say period. You don't have to say comma. It knows all of that. It's intelligent, people. It is as smart or smarter than us already. It also has functionality where you can actually have it speak back to you. So if I'm in the car and I'm brainstorming an idea, let me just rid of all this. Let's say I'm doing some windshield time and I'm trying to think about an issue. So I do a lot of Airbnb work. So let me just show you how this works. So there's another little icon here that's a headphones. And this is for having a conversation. So let's have a conversation. I've got a hearing coming up in which one of the threshold issues is whether or not Airbnb's terms of service, which have all kinds of limitation language and general waiver language, can override the marketing that they put on their homepage, which is totally inconsistent with the terms of service. So what are some of the arguments? And so you'll see now it's going to go ahead and do kind of a speech to text, but it's going to actually talk with me in the car, and it's going to help me brainstorm.
OS agreements can be quite complex. Generally, a company's terms of service are legally binding agreements that outline the rules and guidelines for use.
And so you can see I get up in the morning when I'm doing yoga and meditation, and I have a whole yoga and meditation GPT that I use that's designed for me to help me with stress, to help me focus, and whatever particular thing I'm dealing with in the morning. I'm talking to my GPT assistant, and we're working together to try and give me a good baseline to start the day. I use AI all day long as part of my life. And work is just a piece of it. So ultimately, that's where this is going. And we won't be typing anything for much longer. There will be no typing left in the world. It's all going to be speech to text. You'll be talking to it, and yeah, it will be a robot at some point, walking around your house doing chores and all that stuff. It is coming like a storm. So let's just go over real quick the AI for the Win community. So it's AI4the.win. You can join the community for free. And that gets you access to the bulletin boards, links to these webinars, these types of things. And so there's a lot of high value there. But you could also become a member, and a member gets you access to all of the training videos. It's $119 a month. And no matter what training videos I put up, you have access to them forever. Or you can get the a la carte classes and take the classes one at a time for $319 a piece. And let me just kind of show you around the community when you get in there. What we will have when you do sign in is your dashboard. And your dashboard is going to tell you what classes that you have access to. We have AI for the Win, create a ChatGPT Plus account. It walks you through how to get your Plus account set up with all the security settings and all the basic functionality you need in order to be a power user. And then we've got course 2, which is GPT Power Tips. This is it.
There's only 2.
This is an interesting set of courses because I add to it every week some new practical thing like we did today where I show you how to build a specific GPT for a specific tasks. So that $319 gets you lifetime access and all the new GPT content that comes. I put this up here. I haven't commented on it yet, but let's just watch it real quick. Types of companies in this world, Morgan, those who are great at AI and everybody else. If you don't know AI, you are going to fail. Period. End of story. Whether you are an employee, you're going to have to understand it, impact how it impacts your job or how you can use it to be better in your job. Same if you're a student, the same thing. And if you're a CEO, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to give my tech guys to understand it and educate me on it. You have to understand it because it will have significant impact on every single thing that you do. There's no avoiding it.
Yeah, and perfect.
So, again, that's kind of why we're all here, right? So I know you guys get it. So let's go ahead and go back to the community section here. And I want to show you where I hope you guys will start to spend some time, which is in the bulletin boards. They're called spaces in the AI4the.win community, which I encourage you to send the link to any of your business associates who want free access, because you'll see here the events. We have an upcoming event for advanced prompt engineering. Today's webinar is now off this. The next webinar, AMA, will be in April. And then in the left hand, we have all of these different spaces. So community rules emphasize privacy. Feel free to introduce yourself. Announcements gets posted here. Interesting AI news that's news relevant to lawyers and business professionals will be posted here. So we cut through the noise. Advanced prompt threads are here. So if you're looking for the prompt engineering spreadsheet, you can go to these spaces and find all of the resources that we make available. And then we have an AMA, Ask Me Anything, as part of a threaded discussion as well. We did the AMA. I think we basically went through my top 10 tips, which are Whisper technology. And let me just go ahead and I think this is one of the most popular videos that I've done. I'm going to put this in the chat for you guys. This is how you access the Whisper AI speech to text tool. All right. So if you go to the spaces called Professional Grade GPTs and go to a huge thank you for the March 9th webinar, you're going to see there's a whole training on client intake GPTs, prospective client call GPT, and I actually share this GPT with you, as well as all the code that goes into it. But you can use this GPT yourself. I give you the link, and it's a shared GPT. So if you're wondering how to vet prospective clients, this tool is insane, and you can see the back end plain English coding here. This provides very detailed instructions as to how to help vet prospective clients. And I want to thank everyone for attending. I want to encourage everyone to share this community with your business associates and friends on social media. Our goal is to build up the largest community of lawyers and business professionals in the world, because with numbers comes knowledge, and knowledge is power.